On today's show, a great British favourite from a long line of butchers that can be traced back over 200 years.
The first time I had this dish was when I was 7, and it was love at first taste. This is the first time anybody outside the Godfrey family has tasted these sausages.
A rustic lasagna from the farmlands of Sicily that goes back 3 generations of one Italian family.
I just remember these wonderful memories of me and my dad in the kitchen, and my dad used to sing. He'd sing Pavarotti, Louis Prima, we'd be singing, drinking, and he'd say, food is the spirit of Italian life.
And a fish cake feast dating back over 100 years and traditionally eaten at the start of the Jewish New Year.
It started with my grandmother Muriel. Their home was always one of warmth and very open, so lots of members of the community and family members always congregated in their home for massive, huge meals. Tables were always groaning. So this is where I picked up on the warmth and the love that goes into the food and the traditional Jewish cooking.
Hello, I'm Gino da Campo, and today I feel like a king. Why? Because I'm in central London. Only the finest ingredients gets Her Majesty's seal of approval. And on this show, I'm expecting only the best. So today I found 3 home cooks, each with a dish fit for a queen. I've bought my 3 home cooks in the heart of Marylebone, where in the 16th century, Queen Elizabeth I was hunting just around the corner from here. Now it's full of fine dining restaurants. In a few hours, my 3 home cooks will prepare dinner for over 50 paying customers right here in this wonderful restaurant. Now I must head to the kitchen, find my home cooks and prove once again that there's no taste like home.
Let's meet today's cooks. Chris Godfrey is dishing up medieval bangers and mash. Maria GIERSZEWSKI is cooking Grandma Giuseppina's lasagna. And ANNA FREEDMAN is making Grandma Muriel's fish cake feast.
Okay, guys, welcome to a professional kitchen. What do you think?
Great.
Clean?
Excellent. Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Yep.
No.
Why?
Could go wrong.
Something could
right.
go wrong. Well, something always does go wrong, believe you me. So get on with your preparation, okay? Big smiles, because remember, a happy cook makes beautiful dinners, okay? Everybody in position. Let's get cooking. All right? Come on, let's get doing.
Let's meet our first cook. Chris Godfrey is a 47-year-old butcher who lives in Hatfield, with wife Siobhan, daughter Sarah, son James and dog Colin. Today he's cooking an English classic, medieval bangers and mash. The Godfrey family have been pork farmers or butchers since medieval times. They originally came from Lincolnshire, but they moved to the London area over 100 years ago.
A sausage is only as good as what you put into it. So the better the ingredients you put into it, the better the sausage you're going to get at the end of it. Over the years, the sausage has sort of come full circle. And in the war times, there was no meat around, so they would use a lot of fat, and they wouldn't use meat because there was rationing, so there wasn't a lot of meat around. Here I've got belly of pork, which is nice and fat and succulent. The main flavours or the main seasons we're going to be using is nutmeg, black pepper, a bit of ground mace, and a little bit of allspice. Now I'm going to get some fresh sage, a bit of fresh parsley, 200 grams of rusk. Right, firstly mince your meat. You don't want it too fine, you want it kind of a coarse sausage, so just once through the mincer. Place into the mixing bowl and mix, adding seasoning lightly as you mix it. When you add the rusk, it's going to make it very dry. After you've done that, add the sage and some of the parsley. All the flavours are beginning to work together now. Now we're ready for filling these out now. This is a small hand sausage machine which we use for when we're doing very small amounts. We'll put the mix into the machine. Right, now we're going to press it down a bit just to get some air out of it. That's the skins. Those are hog casings, which are from the pig intestine. The skins are important as the sausage itself. Right, James, you want to hold this still and wind it for us? Filling them out, you don't want them too tightly filled as they're going to burst. So what we're going to do is we're going to link them. So you twist one, that size. Next one, the same length. Next one, the same length, like that. And then you can do this with your eyes closed. It's just a case of linking them like that. That's the sausages made. Now we need some mashed potato. We need 5 of these spuds. Just going to boil that so they're soft. For onion gravy, you're probably going to need 4 of these onions. See, no tears, see? Let's get a bit of red wine reducing there. Because you haven't got onion in the sausage, it's great to have that flavour in the sauce. Because that's probably ready for the stock now. The longer you reduce it, the more intense the flavour for the onion gravy. So we can leave that there now. Right, now we're going to do the mashed potatoes, quite simple. Organic butter and double cream. I like it really, really smooth. It's really funny, when you put sausage in a frying pan and they've been cooking for a couple of minutes, if you shake it, they'll always turn over to the side that hasn't been cooked. We used to call them bangers, literally because they used to put them in the frying pan and they used to blow up because the amount of fat that was in them. Look at the lovely colour of those. Those are more or less done. Right, it's all ready now. Now it's time to place up.
So that's Chris's delicious medieval bangers and mash, served with asparagus and onion and red wine gravy. Gino's keen to find out more.
My family have been butchers for 5 generations, which is at least 200 years. Probably goes further than that, because I think we've just always been butchers. My great-great-grandfather, Alfred, was a Lincolnshire butcher.
Okay.
Frank, my great-grandfather, came from Lincolnshire down to London to seek his fortunes and open up a butcher shop in Stoke Newington. And he used to graze all his cattle in Clissold Park. Years ago, Islington was a village, and those parks were places where people used to graze their animals. Frank, he would graze and walk his cattle down Church Street, and then he would slaughter them at the back of his shop. In them days, if you slaughtered pigs, you'd have to use it all up in one day. Frank got 4 shops going in London in the end before he died. And one of them was over the road here. I used to make sausage over there when I was 18 on a hand filler.
See, we're taking you back when you
me
were
back to where I started
a little
off.
boy.
My grandfather also was a butcher, and he had my father, Peter, who was also a butcher, who had me, who was a butcher.
How old were you when you started to get involved in the sausage making, in the recipe?
I went to work probably from a very early age, but sausages, probably when I was about from 7 years of age, I used to watch my Uncle Peter making sausages in Stoke Newington. There'd be all the bowls lined up, all the ingredients, the smells.
Ready to go?
Ready to go, arms rolled up, mixing up the sausages, ready to fill out into the sausage fillers, into the casings. Well, my mum always done mashed potato and onion gravy for us when we were kids. Once a week it was to eat our sausages.
Okay.
So it's my favourite recipe, and it's a
So
great
sausage and mash.
sausage and mash, but it's not just sausage and mash.
It's not just a sausage, it's
food
your
heritage.
family sausage.
It's my family sausage.
So how are you going to carry on now this tradition going? Because we don't want to stop with you, right?
Well, I've got a son called James who's
Okay.
he wants to come into it.
Is he keen?
He's keen. He's keen.
He wants to do it?
Yep.
James, you must do for the family. So tell me about your dish. How are you going to present it?
What I'm going to do is creamy mashed potato and chives, and I'm going to make onion gravy with a bit of red wine and fresh beef stock.
Okay, so just onion, red wine, that's the way you do the stock.
That's the way I do the stock, yeah.
Well, I'm going to show you, okay, a way to do it, just to spice it up a little bit. First of all, whenever you fry the onion, that is the time for the herbs to go in there, because then you have an explosion of flavor. All the flavor of the herbs comes out, and then you put the red wine. And the herbs I'm using is fresh thyme, which is absolutely beautiful. Then I have the sage, because I think it's going to pick up a little bit of the flavor of the sage of your Lincolnshire pork. Rosemary, okay? Smell this. Unbelievable. Can you imagine this one in your gravy?
It's quite strong, isn't it?
It's quite strong, yes, but the way you do it, you put it there, you push it down so you release the flavor, and then, of course, when you do the gravy, you sieve it, and then bay leaf. Okay, bay leaf goes in there. So I'm going to leave this to you.
Yep, I'll have that.
If you want to use them, you will see your simple gravy all of a sudden is going to have an explosion.
Okay.
How about that? You're going to have a banger gravy. That's what you're going to get, a banger gravy.
Chris will infuse the gravy with his herbs later, but first he gets on with peeling the potatoes for his mash.
There's still a lot of work and a lot of potatoes to peel, so we're not home and dry yet, but we're close now. So we've got the sausages to fill out, and then we should be ready for cooking time, which is where the fun starts.
A great start to the show, a wonderful recipe with a lot of heritage. But after the break, I have 2 more cooks to meet with really fascinating stories.
Our next cook is Maria GIERSZEWSKI, a 37-year-old charity worker and part-time jazz singer from East London, married to Mark. On the menu today is her grandma Giuseppe's lasagna. This dish originates from Maria's Sicilian grandparents, who first showed Maria how to make it when she was just 7 years old.
In Italy, all the old ladies would sit outside and have all these huge punnets of tomatoes. They'd just get warmed up in the sunshine. I'm obviously not in Sicily, so I can't do that, so I'm roasting them instead. So that's the tomatoes. They're in the oven now, so now's my time. I need to quickly make the pasta. This is the flour I use, tipo 00. I always use organic eggs, and you whisk them up a little bit. This is why old Italian women have got muscles like Popeye. Before I bind it all, I'm going to add some basil to it. I think that my dad added this. I'm not sure that it was in my grandma's recipe. So this is fine to go. I just need to pop it in some cling film and get it in the fridge. In half an hour when we take this out, it's going to be a perfect bowl. This is a food meal. This is what I'll crush the tomatoes with. And I'm just going to mix it around. I make it as authentic as my dad used to make it. I'll pour this in here. My dad used to make his own wine, and we used to crush grapes when we were little. I need to get some basil in here. I'll just leave this on to simmer. And now I need to get started on the filling. This is Aberdeen Angus minced beef. My father taught me to put like petit pois in there, little tiny peas. It's now time for me to roll out the pasta. Got everything ready now, just need to plate up the lasagna. So really important to get a good amount of sauce in there. Then you pop your pasta in, cover it totally. I'm going to put a chunky layer of the meat. Now I'm going to put the egg in. The eggs are like the staple ingredient that makes it my family's recipe. And I think it's a very Sicilian thing to put boiled eggs in lasagna. We've got the mozzarella, just piece it up all around where the egg is. The last thing to add on here is the parmesan. Right, so that's it. This is one layer of it, and I'll repeat it 3 times till it gets to the top. Put the lasagna in the oven at 180 degrees and cook for 25 minutes. Whilst the lasagna is baking, I make my bechamel sauce. You just pour this over the top, pop this back in the oven, and we'll get nicely browned over the top. Time to plate up.
That's Grandma Giuseppe's mouth-watering lasagna. Gino is excited to hear the family history behind the dish.
When did the dish start into the family?
My father used to say that my grandmother learnt it from her mother, who learnt it from her mother. So we're talking, at least 4 or 5 generations.
At least 4 or 5 generations.
Mm-hmm. My father is Sicilian,
okay.
And he was an only child. Actually, he had a sister and she died when he was really little, so he grew up an only child. My grandparents used to teach him everything, so she wanted to prepare him for life and that he should know how to cook and everything, so he got all these wonderful recipes from her. Basically, he passed them all down to me, and I just have continued them in my own way. My parents used to send us to Sicily in the summertime, and I would spend time with family, and we used to sit there on like hot, sweaty days outside, crushing the tomatoes in the moulis. We didn't have pasta machines and stuff then. We'd be rolling out
by hand.
No, we used to roll it with the bottles of wine.
Oh yeah, with a bottle of wine. Yeah, yes.
That my grandfather made, and it was amazing. You have these huge sheets of pasta.
Does your father come into your mind every time you make
Yes.
this dish?
I just remember these wonderful memories of me and my dad in the kitchen, and my dad used to sing. He'd sing Pavarotti. Louis Prima would be singing, drinking and cooking, and he'd say, food is the spirit of Italian life.
What would it mean to you in the memory of your dad to win?
It would just be amazing, be a huge tribute to him, really. I really miss him, I sincerely miss him, and I miss the wonderful times that we spent together. He was just a really gracious, beautiful man. When I'm cooking and I'm cooking my dad's dishes, I think of him and I sing the songs we used to sing. That's my time I spend with my dad, and it's my time to reminisce. And when I sit down and I serve my food, I think, this is for you, Papa. I would love to be able to say, your memory lives on, Daddy.
Maria begins by chopping her onions and garlic. then sautéing them with the minced beef to make the lasagna's delicious filling.
I'm really excited to cook for Gino because he's Italian as well. My dish is Italian, it's very traditional. I'm sure he thinks that where he's from in Naples is the best place for lasagna, but I just want to show him that we do it really well in Sicily.
With just 3 hours to go before service, our home cooks are facing the challenge of a lifetime. They must prepare their beloved family dishes in a professional kitchen for the first time. All three are determined that their dish will win the coveted place on this restaurant's menu for a month. Earlier, we met Chris Godfrey, who is making his medieval bangers and mash. And Maria GIERSZEWSKI with her grandma Giuseppina's lasagna.
So the menu is taking shape. As they say, too many cooks spoil the broth. Well, not in my kitchen. Let's meet our next cook.
Our final cook is ANNA FREEDMAN, a 31-year-old food dietitian from London, here with husband Scott. Her menu today is Grandma Muriel's fish cakes, accompanied with timos, a carrot, onion and prune stew, and kugel, a casserole of potato, carrots and courgettes.
Each dish making up the meal reminds me of my grandma and her cooking, but the fish cakes truly is the kind of star of the show, I would say. Every time I bite into these fish cakes, I just feel her passion for cooking and for feeding people and her love. So we're going to kick off with the simmus. Carrot and onion are chopped up really finely. I feel that's really important. That's exactly what my grandma did, really mince the vegetables, and it contributes to the lightness of the fish cakes. I'm just adding a pinch of salt. She adds a little bit of sugar, so I'm going to add a bit of this syrup. So this is the minced white fish, sea bream, whiting and haddock. I've now got the minced fish and the carrot together. I'm adding the almond meal. It really helps bring out a little bit of sweetness and lightens the dish up. I'm forming them into the cakes now, coating them in the egg. It helps the matzo meal stick, and when you fry it, it gives a really nice texture. My grandma was just renowned for these fish cakes. I remember them with a lot of laughter and smiles and real joyful times. The meal's ready now, all the dishes are complete and it's ready to plate up.
That's Anna's Grandma Muriel's fantastic fish cake feast with a great story to it.
Tell me everything I should know about your dish.
Well, it's my grandmother's fish cake feast. So it's a really traditional Jewish dish. It's been in my family for several generations. It started with my grandmother Muriel, and then my mother Pauline picked it up, and now she's passing it on to me, and so there's a real continuity. But before my grandmother Muriel, there would have been my great-grandparents, Harry and Annie Beacon. They were really important members of the Liverpool Jewish community, so they founded the synagogue there. I'm making the fish cakes, which is my grandma Muriel's speciality. She was renowned for them, far and wide. She was just a wonderful cook. She'd rise at 5 o'clock every morning to cook. Their home was always one of warmth and very open, so lots of members of the community and family members always congregated in their home for massive, huge meals. Tables were always groaning. So this is where I picked up on the warmth and the love that goes into the food and the traditional Jewish cooking. The fish cake dishes were prevalent at every meal. Friday night dinners, Jewish holidays, so the New Year, Rosh Hashanah, Passover. It just conjures up memories of my grandparents and family.
What about the memory when you learned the dish with her? How was your grandma? Was she a good teacher?
I was around her kitchen. The kitchen was the centre of her home. She was always in there, and so me and my brother and the rest of the family would always be in there and picking up on what she was doing. It's all I've ever known is these fish cakes, my grandmother's fish cakes.
What would it mean to you to win today and have this beautiful dish on a restaurant menu?
I would be really, really thrilled, and I'm sure my grandmother would be too. It's just a wonderful tribute to her, her generosity and her love of food and family, and it's symbolic of that, and I know my family would be really, really happy too.
Anna's got a lot to do today with her fish cakes, baked casseroles and carrot and prune stew, so Gino has some ideas to help.
So Anna, these are your famous fish cakes.
Yeah.
Look at that, they look absolutely beautiful.
Good.
Fantastic. Now, What I want to say about when you make fish cakes,
Yeah.
it's very important that they keep the shape, okay? Because often what's happening, you make something like fish cake and then they fry them off straight away.
Yeah.
And the problem there, because they've just been put together, they can fall apart very, very easily.
Yeah.
Cover them with cling film,
Right.
okay? And let it rest in the refrigerator for at
Okay.
least 20 minutes. So what's gonna happen, all the ingredients, they're gonna really stuck together. So then when you fry them,
Yeah.
it's gonna be absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Okay?
Fabulous.
All right, ciao.
Ciao.
For hundreds of years, these dishes have only ever been made for our cooks' families. But today, these treasured meals will be served up to 50 paying diners. Chris has ground the meat and is now filling the sausage skins, but he has some reservations about the challenges ahead.
The biggest risk for me today is going to be the frying the sausages off. Because they're fresh, they're not going to have a long time to hang up and for them to set. So that's going to be the risk for the day, and that's the one I'm worried about.
Maria has made her tomato sauce and is now turning her attention to the pasta dough.
It's crunch time now, so I've got lots to do. Got to roll out my fresh pasta, and after this it will be just putting the lasagna together and getting it in the oven, so lots to do in a very short amount of time.
Anna's prepared the casserole and is about to start on her side dish of carrot and prune stew, but is increasingly worried about time.
I got a really great tip from Gino, although it's given me a huge time pressure now to put these in the fridge for 20 minutes. It's quite a long time when the clock's ticking away already.
The menu is complete. Everybody looks happy, but with great lunch comes great responsibility. My amateurs must transform into professional and serve only the finest food. So join me after the break, where we're gonna discover if my 3 home cooks can really handle the pressure. Now the diners are about to come, so let's remind ourselves what's on the menu today.
Butcher Chris Godfrey is making medieval bangers and mash, a dish that can be traced back 200 years of his family.
Butchery's in our blood. It's part of who we are, really. And the Lincolnshire sausage recipe that we use comes from that original recipe that we brought down from Lincolnshire with us in 1880. There we've got 2 kilos of Lincolnshire sausages.
Maria GIERSZEWSKI is making Grandma Giuseppina's lasagna, a rustic recipe from her Sicilian farming ancestors.
My parents were from Sicily and their grandparents were from Sicily. It's really hot there, so all the old ladies would sit outside and have all these huge punnets of tomatoes. They'd just get warmed up in the sunshine.
And ANNA FREEDMAN is hoping to impress with Grandma Muriel's fishcake feast, which dates back over 100 years and is traditionally eaten during Jewish celebrations.
My grandma was just renowned for these fish cakes, and they were legendary. They were part of the Beacon family and featured at pretty much every mealtime.
Whilst the restaurant staff do their final checks in the dining room, there's last-minute preparations for our cooks. Soon, 50 hungry diners will be seated for lunch. Back in the kitchen, Chris starts to feel the stress of lunch service.
This is like a doomsday stage, because this is where the mashed potatoes ready, the sausages need to go on, and I'm reducing the sauce down now, so it's a critical stage just to get past this one.
I'm just juicing lemons, and the lemon juice will go into the salad. It's all coming together. It's working out really well.
I'm just hoping the timing comes together and they're all at the right texture and heat in time for service. It's all a bit of a juggling act.
Chris, how you doing here? You got
all right.
everything under control?
Yeah, we're just cooking the sausages off now, just being very careful with them. Because they're so fresh and I've made them so usually I give them about 6 hours to settle and
To
set.
kind of settle into the skin.
Yeah, I haven't been able to do that, but it doesn't matter.
But at least they get all the freshness, all the
Yeah.
flavour. So I can see these are the onions for the gravy. You got the herbs in there, I
Yeah,
can
the herbs,
really
yeah.
smell. So it was a
Yeah.
good tip, right?
Good tip, yeah.
Carry on, my friend.
Right.
Carry on. We're nearly there for lunch.
It's gonna be all right.
Maria, this is ready?
Yes.
Ah, okay, one sec. Before you start to cut it, let me give you a tip about baking pasta, okay? And this is for any pasta bake, especially for lasagna. Okay. The problem is now it's just coming out of the oven, so you can understand the tomato, the meat, everything that is in there is actually quite fragile. So what's happening if you cut and you put on a plate, it's gonna go everywhere. It's just gonna fluff down. like that. So the way to do it, to let it rest out of the oven for a good 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what's gonna happen. All these ingredients, all the starch of the pasta is gonna get together, so then when you cut it, it's gonna stay beautiful and up on the table. Are you okay with the fish cake?
Yeah.
See how beautiful they are now? They've been relaxing, fry them off, ready to go. What
Yeah.
about all your other components?
The components are around in the oven and
Okay.
yeah.
So you got everything under control?
Yes.
I don't have to worry.
No worries.
Good.
Finally, it's lunchtime and customers keen for a taste of home cooking enter the dining room. The diners are a discerning crowd, so our 3 home cooks will really have to step up to the mark to impress them.
Personally, I'm looking forward to lasagna to see if it's similar to how my mama makes.
Grandma Muriel's fish cake feast comes from my area of the world as well, so that should be very interesting.
I'm going for the medieval bangers and mash, without a doubt. It just looks so lovely, and yeah, we're big sausage fans.
With expectations running high, it's now up to Gino to run the pass during service. He must ensure that everything going out of the kitchen is not only cooked properly, but also beautifully presented. It's crucial that he tastes the dishes before they're plated up and sent out of the kitchen.
Remember, these people up here, they paid. So we must make sure that the dish looks perfect. Come back to me with your final dish, and then we'll have a taste, okay? Come on.
First up, it's Chris's bangers and mash.
So I'm really looking forward to trying the Lincolnshire sausage. I've been waiting all day. Look at that. Texture. Chris was a little bit worried that when you make them fresh, they may don't hold together. I think they hold absolutely perfectly. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The meat, the sage, the spices, mashed potato, good texture. This is one bangers and mash that I will love to eat more and more and more.
Next up for Gino's taste test is Maria's lasagna.
So this is Maria's lasagna. It looks great. It's got a beautiful shine all over the cheese, the fresh basil, which is great. Let me see the texture. Good texture. She definitely relaxed the lasagna. Absolutely spot on. A good dish overall. The only thing that I really don't like is to serve salad and hot pasta on the same plate. So I'll see if I can convince Maria to change her mind.
And finally, Anna's fish cakes, accompanied by kugel, a casserole of potato, carrot and courgette, with simos, a carrot and prune stew.
First, let me see the fish cake, which is nice and crispy outside. It's a good sign. A good flavor of fish, not overpowering. And I think overall, the moisture in there is incredible. I thought they would be very dry, but it's a really good fish cake. Here in the ramekin, wow. I think it's a well-balanced dish. Anna, she's got everything. Fantastic. Very good.
So, whilst the cooks get ready for service, Gino heads front of house to meet some very special diners.
So you must be Peter.
That's right, Gino.
How are you? What a pleasure.
Pleased to meet you.
What a pleasure. How do you feel being here? I got Chris downstairs.
I'm very proud of him, Gino. Yeah, because we're a family that's been trading as butchers
for so long.
for
He told
105
me.
years.
Do you think he's going to do a good job?
Oh, yes. It's the finest meal, sausage. You can't beat it, can you?
Well, I have a good lunch.
No, nice cold.
Have a good lunch, and I'll talk to you at the end.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
So then you can tell me what you think about the dish.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Ciao, guys. Buon appetito.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. Are you good?
Hello.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now we have Anne downstairs. She worked very hard today, I have to say. For your recipe, she worked hard. How do you think Anne she's going to cope downstairs in the kitchen?
I think she'll be fantastic. She's very calm. She doesn't get hassled, and I think it's going to taste delicious.
I think she ignores me when I talk to her. I don't know why.
I think she knows what she's doing, and if it works, she tries to kind of stick to that.
She sticks with it.
Yeah.
So guys, I have a great lunch. I'm going to have to go downstairs because otherwise things are going to start to go all pear-shaped. So enjoy the lunch and I'll see you soon. Okay?
So the home cooks family have every confidence in them. Let's hope the chefs do too. By the end of lunch, Gino will award one dish the honour of being on this restaurant's menu for a month. His main judging criteria are cost of ingredients, preparation time in the kitchen, and the reaction of the diners. Back in the kitchen, service is just minutes away.
I'm gonna run the pass from this place here.
Okay.
So the tickets are gonna arrive, I'm gonna put them up here, and I'm gonna start to shout for the dishes. So when I call up your dish, I want you to reply to me, yes, chef, and tell me the timing. Are we understood each other?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Yes, chef.
Very good. Yes, chef. Come on, everybody in position, and let's get started.
Are you ready to order? Grandma Muriel's fish cake, please. Please.
Bangers and mash.
Okay, so this lasagna.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, let's concentrate because we have the first one coming. So first table, 1 fish cake, 1 sausage and mash.
Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
Okay, can I have 1 lasagna, 1 more sausage and mash?
Yes, chef.
As head chef, Gino demands perfection in every dish, but so far he's not impressed.
1 second, Chris, come here.
I'll put it all back, I'll do another one.
No, look, I mean, if I can leave my finger in the mashed potato, if I can pick up a sausage with my hand, if I can pick up asparagus with my hand, you know what it means?
It's
that
cold.
all this is all cold, right?
Yeah.
So take this back, stop with the fish cake, give me good food on a plate.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
1 fish cake, 1 sausage and mash.
Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
Anna,
Yeah.
I'll pick one of your fish cake.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stuck a finger in there, and I'm gonna do that. Do you think it's hot, or do you think it's room temperature?
No, it's not hot enough.
Right? If I can do that,
Yeah.
that means that it's nowhere near hot enough.
Yeah.
Prepare me 1 lasagna.
While Chris and Anna are struggling with service, Maria is thriving.
The other contestants are a little bit slower than I am, and I think they're having trouble with keeping their food warm. I'm ready, I'm excited, I'm just waiting for people to order my food.
Anna, after this, I need 4 fish cakes.
Sure.
Okay?
Yes, chef.
Yeah? Please tell me that you got what I say, otherwise I don't know. Okay, I have to say, today in particular, I'm a little bit worried. We are definitely running late for service, and Chris, they look a little bit too scared to me. Today's probably the first time ever that I have no idea if everything is gonna run nice and smooth. I really hope so for them, for their family, and for their dishes. So I have to go now.
Gino won't allow any of the dishes out to the awaiting diners unless the food is absolutely perfect. But back in the dining room and unaware of the problems in the kitchen, the orders are still flying in thick and fast.
Could I have the gefilte fish cakes, please?
Can I have 1 fish cake, 1 sausage and mash, 1 lasagna?
Yes, chef.
1 fish cake and 1 sausage and mash.
Yes, chef.
I need 1 fish cake. How long?
Okay, I've got one.
Is it hot?
Yeah.
You sure? You're giving me cold food. I'm just to let you know, because I don't want you to say, Gino, why did you let it go when it's not hot?
Yeah.
This is not hot.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
No.
So then you need to do me another one.
Okay.
Gino is still unhappy with the dishes and won't allow any of the food out of the kitchen.
I'm a bit worried now because we're running the lunch really late. I think we are definitely over an hour late. Diners have been waiting for about an hour and a half now, and we haven't started yet. Now, it's time to rock and roll. Come on, guys, this is seriously slow now. We are over an hour late for lunch. People very soon they're gonna leave. Okay, give me your lasagna, I'll see. Very nice.
Good.
Get your bangers out.
Yes, chef. Get your bangers out.
Finally, the cook's dishes meet Gino's high standards. And he allows the dishes to go out to the patient diners. After such a long wait for their food, what do the diners think of today's dishes?
That is lovely sausage. It's really, really nice. Got lots of herbs, kind of sage and cinnamon, actually, I think. There's cinnamon in there. No, it's really yummy.
Delicious. I make quite a mean lasagna, and this is very nice though.
The fish cake is it's quite dense. There's a sweetness to the carrot vegetable medley, which is quite pleasant. Yeah, good contrast of flavours.
I need 1 more fish cake, 1 more sausage, 1 lasagna.
Yes, chef.
1 more sausage, come on. I need a fish cake to go with this sausage, so you need to be quick. All looking the same, all beautiful.
Just like you, chef.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is nerve-wracking when it comes down to actually plating up for somebody to eat. It's a bit different to cooking at home.
Is this hot?
When your friends are eating your food, they're always going to say it's lovely, and so actually this is the best test to get more people who have no attachment to you to be able to actually say it was delicious.
How long for the fish cake?
3 minutes.
3?
2. Oh, my fish cakes aren't hot enough. They have been really hot, but they've been waiting. I've been trying to control the temperature and trying to keep everything hot, which is quite challenging without
One fish cake.
Here we go. Yes, chef.
Okay, 2 sausage, 1 lasagna. Get me this 4. I need 4 of them, yeah?
Yeah, I know.
These people are not getting a free meal. These people are paying for your family dish, okay? Come on, give me something that is decent to go up there. Come on, the table has been waiting for over half an hour for these sausages. Very hot in the kitchen, but service is definitely not over yet. Now, after the break, join me because I have to make a decision on which dish is going to be on this restaurant menu for 1 month. 2 sausages, Chris. 2 sausages.
The restaurant's full, and as a result, the kitchen's been inundated with orders. Home cooks Chris and Anna have struggled, whereas Maria has risen to the challenge.
Okay, can I have 1 fish cake, 1 sausage and mash?
1 bangers and mash, chef.
2 sausage and mash, 1 lasagna.
1 lasagna, chef.
Even though the end of service is in sight, Gino sustains the pressure on the chefs to ensure that quality doesn't slip.
Anna, make sure they're not burned underneath.
They're not.
Don't lie to me because I'm gonna check them.
Okay, I'm not lying.
This goes to the same table. You give me 2 different kind of plates.
Yes, chef. I'll get that.
Are you happy with that?
I'm on the case, don't worry.
You right with that?
No, it's too burnt.
So why don't you put it on a plate then? How long for this sausage?
They're here now.
Messy artist. That's who you are. Okay, guys, this is the last table, so the last push. 2 more sausages, 1 lasagna.
Great, yes,
Yes,
chef.
chef.
Chris, can you tell me when you're at 30 seconds, please?
I'm at 30 seconds now.
No, it's not. You drive me mad with your timing.
It's me, I've got to watch. 1 bangers and mash with some
1
triples
more
on.
bangers and mash, yeah.
1 lasagna, chef.
And your lasagna looks amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, everybody here? That was the last table.
Was it?
Really?
Yes!
Oh, okay.
Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done, well done, well done. Seriously.
Put on a bit of sweat there.
You worked really, really hard. Before we leave, everything that you see around here needs to be clean.
All right.
Come on.
Thank you,
Clean
chef.
up. No, you're welcome.
The last dishes are being served in the dining room, and very soon lunch will be over. It's now up to the diners, the head chef and the restaurant manager to help Gino decide which dish will win a place on the restaurant's menu for a month.
Better late than never, yeah. Very nice, but better late than never.
I ordered the lasagna, delicious. A lot of lasagnas have a lot of sauce. This one was very firm. It had the different layers, the meat, all the herbs. The flavours were delicious.
The sausages were absolutely superb, and the sauce was, again, absolutely excellent, if a little thin.
I ordered the fish cake, and the fish cake was really, really nice.
Well, they seem to have enjoyed them, but which dish will Gino pick? Will it be butcher Chris Godfrey with his great English favourite, medieval bangers and mash, a recipe passed down his family for centuries?
The first time I had this dish was when I was 7, and it was love at first taste. This is the first time anybody outside the Godfrey family has tasted these sausages.
Or will Maria GIERSZEWSKI make the grade with Grandma Giuseppina's lasagna, a rustic dish from the farmlands of Italy that goes back 2 generations of her Sicilian family?
When I sit down and I serve my food, I think this is for you, Papa. I would love to be able to say, your memory lives on, Daddy.
Or can Anna Freedman win with her Grandma Muriel's fish cake feast that dates back 100 years and is traditionally eaten at the start of the Jewish New Year?
It would be really wonderful. I would be really, really thrilled, and I'm sure my grandmother would be too. It's just a wonderful tribute to her.
Time to welcome the cooks into the restaurant to find out whose heritage dish will win a place on the menu.
All for you. All for you. So, guys, how do you feel?
Tired.
Great.
Tired?
Great.
Yeah, is this something that you would do it again?
No.
In a heartbeat.
Straightforward, no.
I'm ready. Tell me when.
Ready to do it again. Maria, your dish, amazing. you know, an Italian lasagna the way it should be. During service, spot on. I have no, you know, you did it really well, very concentrated. I like that. Chris, what can I say? A sausage master. At the beginning, when you said to me, Gino, I'm going to make sausage from scratch, I thought myself, this is never going to happen. But I don't know how did you manage, but everything came around absolutely beautifully. You were a little bit under stress during service. Your timing is completely wrong. Every time I asked you how long, you were coming with 3 seconds, and it took 4.5 minutes. But, you know, apart from that, it was a beautiful dish. Anna, I told myself at some point you're going to punch me in the kitchen.
Never.
Every time I was talking to you, you were completely blank to say, I don't really care what you have to say, I'll do it my way. And your way, it was a great way. I mean, it was a few hiccups, but, you know, overall, beautiful dish as well. You know, I loved your fish cake, very good flavors. Okay, as far as concerning me, 3 winners, by the way. Okay, on this show is only winners because we're celebrating your family dishes. And the winner of today's There Is No Taste Like Home is... Chris Banger and Mash. Yeah, really, really good. Really, really good. This is yours.
I feel really over the moon, really, shocked, because I thought everyone done really well. Just really, really, really happy.
I feel great. It was such an amazing experience. The whole thing was so exhilarating. Gino was amazing. It was just everything I thought it would be and more.
No, I feel really thrilled actually. The first thing my mum said to me, she said she was in tears when she started tasting the fish cakes because they really reminded her of my grandma's. So I think it was a good result and I'm really pleased to have been involved.
What an amazing show, and of course congratulations to Chris and his Banger and Mash. Now join me next time as I continue my journey across the UK to prove one more time that there is no taste like home.